Mga amigos, mga amigas, mga kumpanyeros, mga kumpanyeras, magandang araw po sa inyo lahat. Ito pong muli ang inyong lingkod, Atty. Rene Bueno. Ngayon po ay pag-usapan natin at pag-aralan na din natin kung ano ba itong salitang mandamos. Sapagkat nitong nakarang araw ay isa pong petisyon sa Korte Suprema ang isinampa requesting the Supreme Court to issue the mandamus order against the Senate of the Philippines. Ito po ay may kaugnayan doon sa impeachment complaint na isinampa ng ating House of Representatives. So, itinransmit ng House of Representatives sa Senado noong February 5, 2025. But since that date, na ito ay naitransmit sa Senado, ay hanggang ngayon ay wala pong aksyon na ginawa ang ating Senado. At despite the fact na merong sinasabi ang ating saligang batas that once the impeachment complaint has already been transmitted to the Senate of the Philippines, the Senate shall forthwith proceed with the impeachment trial. But despite that particular provision in the 1987 Constitution, ay wala pong naging aksyon ang Senado. At despite the fact further na mga retired justices ang nagsasabi, retired justices ng Supreme Court, like for instance in the case of Justice Antonio Carpio, sinasabi din niya na dapat kumilos na agad ang Senado. Si former Justice Adolf Ascuna ay isa din sa mga framers of the 1987 Constitution, ay sinasabi rin na immediately dapat umaksyon ng ating Senado. At kung hindi siya aaksyon ay magkakaroon ng problema or technicalities about the matter of jurisdiction, which may result to the loss of the jurisdiction on the part of the Senate. So mababaliwala yung impeachment complaint na pinaghirapan doon sa House of Representatives at mababasura lamang dahil sa inaction on the part of the Senate. So maraming mga legal opinions at mga technicalities na lumalabas since that time na hindi umaksyon ng Senado. So dahil dito, isang abogado ang nagsampa ng petition sa Supreme Court at nagre-request na maglabas ng mandamus against the Senate. So ang tanong ng ating mga kaibigan at mga amigos at mga amigas ay ano ba itong mandamus? So ang mandamus po ay isang court order. Yan ay nag-uutos sa isang government body or agency or government official na gawin, compelling that government body or agency to perform a specific act of which the law mandates him to perform that specific duty. And marami ding naglabasan ng mga opinion na pwede bang pilitin ng Korte Suprema ang isang co-equal branch of the government na mag-issue ng mandamus. Kapag ito ay ginawa ng Korte Suprema, ilalabas na ito ay nakikialam sa affairs of a co-equal branch of the government. So medyo marami ding nagdududa kung ilalabas ba yung mandamus na yan against the Senate because it would violate daw the separation of powers. Kasi co-equal branch yan Senate, yung Legislative Department, which is yung Senado is part of the Legislative Department together with the lower house, the House of Representatives. And then the Judiciary and the Executive Department. Yung three branches na yan of government ay co-equal yan. So, kumbaga sa layman's term, walang pakialaman. May kanya-kanya tayong ginagawang katungkulan at obligasyon sa ilalim ng saligang batas. Pero ang usapin dito is, hindi mo ginagawa yung duty mo, under the provisions of the 1987 Constitution. So, nararapat lamang kami bilang taga-interpret ng batas ay mailabas tong mandamus na to upang ikaw ay i-compel to perform a very specific duty of which you are obligated to do. So, yung lumalabas, yung mandamus na yan is a legal tool that can be used to ensure that the government official perform a specific duty of which the law mandates him to do. So, yan. So, nanggaling yan sa isang lingwahe ng Latin na kung saan sinasabi na we command. So, we command you to do a very specific duty na you are under obligation to perform. So, yan yung mandamos. Kaya lamang ang tanong dito, paano yan? Pareho kayo ng co-equal lang kayo, no? Co-equal branch of the government. Pwede ba yon? So, yung mandamos, inilalabas kasi yan ng Korte Suprema against a government agency, a government official. Nung 2019, naglabas ang Supreme Court ng mandamos laban sa COMELEC. So, nagamit niya yan laban sa COMELEC. Ang COMELEC is a constitutional body, no? Very independent yan. Hindi mo basta-basta pwedeng utusan yan. But despite that fact, way back in 2019, inutusan o nag-command o nag-issue ng mandamos ang Supreme Court sa COMELEC na kung saan dapat mag-conduct sila ng plebiscite yata sa isang dapat supposed to be nagkaroon ng election do sa bandang Mindanao. So medyo nakalimutan ko yung title of the case. Matagal na kasi yon. That was almost 5 or 6 years ago. So, nagamit yung mandamos against the Commission on Elections. But in this case, sa kaso ni Vice President Sara Duterte, pwede man pilitin ng Korte Suprema ang Senado na maglabas ng mandamos. So, titingnan natin ano ba ang mga requisites niyan, no, para makonsider ng Korte Suprema na ilabas yung mandamos. So, dapat medyo maingat ang ating mataas na hukuman sa paglalabas ng mandamos. Bago tayo magtuloy, no, ito po ay pinag-uusapan natin for academic purposes, no? At pinag-uusapan natin to para maintindihan natin ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng mandamos at hindi natin pinangungunahan ng ating Korte Suprema dito sa ating pinag-uusapan. Itong pinag-uusapan natin, ano ba yung mga essential requisites for the court to consider the issuance of mandamos, at kailan to pwedeng ilabas at ano ba ang ibig sabihin doon sa mandamos. Anong klaseng duty ang dapat ipine-perform ng isang government agency, body, or official para makonsider ang issuance of mandamos. So, unang-una dito, dapat yung government agency ay may legal duty to perform a particular or specific act. Tapos, yung nag-file naman ng petition, dapat meron siyang clear legal right, no? For the government agency, for the government official to perform that specific duty. At pangatlo, dapat there is no other available remedy, no, under our existing laws para mapuwersa mo, makumpel mo yung government body na gawin yung kanyang duty under the law. So, yun ang mga kino-consider dyan. So, these are the 3 factors na tinitingnan ng ating hukuman kung ilalabas ba natin yung mandamos. Legal duty on the part of the government agency or the body or the government official, yung clear right of the petitioner, and there is no other available remedy except the issuance of the mandamos. Pangalawa, ang dapat i-consider dito, yung mandamos kasi inuutusan niya ng isang government agency or body if the agency or the body or the government official is performing a ministerial duty. So, kung ministerial ang duty mo, tapos pakuya-kuya-kuy ka at hindi mo ginagawa ang iyong katungkulan sa ilalim ng ating batas or saligang batas, ay mapepwersa ang ating hukuman or mataas na hukuman na maglabas ng mandamos. So, kasi dito sa kaso ni Vice President Sara Duterte, nakalagay kasi sa ilalim ng ating saligang batas na kapag naisampa na i-transmit na sa Senado yung impeachment complaint, the Senate shall forthwith proceed with the impeachment trial. So, tutukan natin yung word na shall. So, ano ba ang shall? Ano ba yung forthwith? Alam nyo sa aming mga abogado, nung kami po ay first year or second year sa law school, ay meron kaming subject na tinatawag na statutory construction. At pinag-aaralan namin kung ano ang ibig sabihin ng shall, ano ang ibig sabihin ng may, ano ang ibig sabihin ng ang should or must, no? Napaka-importante ng mga salita niya na yan. Ilang letra lang pero nagkakatalo sa kaso pag ginamit mo yung shall, may, will, should, must. So, ang pinakamatindi dyan yung shall. Kasi yung lengguwaheng shall ay it implies an obligation, no, on the part of the person or a government agency. Imperative yan eh. It is interpreted under the legal parlance as imperative, meaning to say that you have an obligation legally to perform a particular or specific act. So, shall. No, wala kang kawala dyan pag sinabing shall. Dinuktong mo pa yung forthwith, which according to the Webster Dictionary, Oxford Dictionary, Black's Law Dictionary, at sa lahat ng dictionary, nakalagay ang ibig sabihin ng forthwith, immediately. So, hindi naman sinasabi na pag sinampa ang tinransmit ang impeachment complaint sa Senado, araw ng Lunes, Martes, action na siya kagad. So, ang sinasabi dyan, ibig sabihin, shall forthwith proceed with the impeachment trial, you must act within a reasonable time. Yung bang 5 months or 6 months, reasonable on the part of the Senate, no, to delay the start of the impeachment trial. Definitely, that is no longer reasonable. Kung 6 months yan, halos kalahating taon na yan. Ano ba naman yan? So, hindi na reasonable yan. Pag sinabing reasonable, siguro yung 1 month, 2 months, giving the Senate enough time to prepare for the new rules of procedure, yung impeachment rules ninyo, dahil iba na ngayon ang rules of court. Siyempre, pinagbabatayan din ninyo ang rules of court pagdating sa impeachment trial. Nagbago na ang rules of court since the time na nagkaroon ng impeachment trial sa ating Senado, 2012, 2013, nung panahon ni Justice Corona. Nagbago, nagkaroon ng revision sa rules of court. So, maraming pagbabago na dapat kinakailangan din namang magkaroon ng panibagong rules of procedure, rules of impeachment sa Senado. So, to give them enough time, siguro 30 days, 6 days will be enough on their part para makapagprepara. And at the same time, they must convene immediately para ma-convert nila yung kanilang body into one impeachment court. Hindi pa pwedeng magpatenga-tenga, magpakuyak-kuyakoy ka sa tumba-tumba at hindi mo nalalaman at hindi mo namamalayan. Nag-umpisa na yung 20th Congress, hindi ka pa umaaksyon, abay mawawala ang iyong jurisdiction to conduct an impeachment trial against the Vice President. So lahat ng pagod ng House of Representatives ay mapupunta sa basura, mababaliwala ang kanilang pinag-aralan, ang kanilang mga diskarte kung paano masasampahan ang kasong impeachment ang Vice President. So, nabaliwala sila. Naging meaningless yung kanilang effort upang matuloy itong impeachment trial against the Vice President na si Sara Duterte. So, sa amin kasi, ulitin ko, sa amin, nung kaming mga abogado, nung kami ay nasa law school pa, first year, second year, meron kaming tinatawag na statutory subject, na statutory construction subject, na kung saan pinag-aaralan namin yung mga may iksing salita na yan, na shall, must, should, no, at may. So, pagdating nga doon sa shall, ang ibig sabihin niyan, it is, under the legal parlance, it is interpreted as imperative, meaning there is an obligation, legal obligation on the part of the government agency or body to perform a duty. No, kapag hindi niya sinunod yan, tapos nakaduktong pa yung forthwith, ay magkakaroon siya ng problema under the Constitution. Kasi sinabi, shall forthwith proceed with impeachment trial. So, mandatory siya. So, pag ginamit mo din yung shall, ibig sabihin, you are required to perform, not a ministerial function, but not a discretion. Sorry, you are required to perform a ministerial function. Hindi discretionary kasi yung function ng Senado when it comes to proceed with the to proceed, no? Forthwith proceed with the impeachment trial. So pag sinabing shall forthwith proceed with the impeachment trial, there is no discretion on your part, but your duty is merely ministerial. Kasi nakalagay doon sa Constitution, shall forthwith proceed. So leaving no room for discretionary function on the part of the Senate. Ibig sabihin, ministerial yung duty mo. Kasi kung discretionary yan, hindi makakapag-issue ang ating Korte Suprema ng mandamus, because the mandamus is directed only to a government official or body to perform a legal obligation which is ministerial in character. No, kapag discretionary yan, hindi pwedeng makailam kahit anong sinong hukuman, no, sa government agency, because they are only exercising their discretionary function. But once it is only a ministerial function, opinion ko to kasi ako naniniwala, the duty of the Senate to convene as an impeachment court is a ministerial function because the Constitution commands them to forthwith proceed. The Senate shall forthwith proceed with the impeachment trial. So this is not a discretionary function, but it is a ministerial duty on the part of the Senate to convene itself as an impeachment court. So wala silang discretion na dito na magpatenga-tenga, magpakuyakoy-kuyakoy at patagalin ang pag-start ng impeachment trial, because when the Constitution says that the Senate shall act, the Senate shall forthwith proceed with the impeachment trial, so the Constitution tells the Senate to perform a ministerial function. Otherwise, sinabi ng Constitution dapat dyan, the Senate, upon receipt of the impeachment complaint, may proceed. Nakikita nyo yung kaibahan? The Senate may proceed with the conduct of the impeachment trial. Ang layo ng diferensya sa shall, because shall is, in legal parlance, is imperative. It connotes a legal obligation to perform a specific act within reasonable time. So malaki ang diferensya. So ako, ang paniwala ko, it is my own legal opinion that the Supreme Court will issue the mandamus to compel the Senate to perform its duty, which is ministerial in character. Nabahin na ako kasi dito sa lugar namin medyo may kalamigan, no? At medyo hating gabi na kasi nung aking na-record itong topic na to tungkol sa mandamus. So, in conclusion, yung term na shall forthwith proceed implies a ministerial duty on the part of the Senate. So, the Supreme Court may issue the mandamus kasi nakalagay shall forthwith proceed. If it is shall forthwith proceed, ulitin ko, it implies the performance of a ministerial duty. So, hindi discretionary to. So, ibig sabihin, ang Senado ay hindi pwedeng magpakuyakoy-kuyakoy at magpabanjing-banjing at magintay ng 5 hanggang 6 na buwan upang simulan ang impeachment trial. So, since this is a ministerial duty, the Senate shall forthwith proceed with the impeachment trial. So, ulitin ko po, ang aking po mga binanggit dito ay sarili kong legal na opinion at base po to sa mga librong binasa ko, stock knowledge to na mga binasa kong libro sa Constitution. Kasi 2 libro ang binasa ko when I studied law. Unang-unang binasa ko, yung libro ni Justice Isagani Cruz, Supreme Court Justice yan. Yun yung nirecommend na libro sa amin when we were still studying law. So, the Constitutional Law 1, Constitutional Law 2 by Justice Isagani Cruz. And the other book na reference ko pagdating sa Constitution is the book of Father Joaquin Bernas of Ateneo Law School. So, binabasa ko din yan kasi yung anak ko is also a lawyer who graduated from Ateneo Law School aside from having a bachelor's degree in journalism from Ateneo Law School. She graduated cum laude. Hindi nga lang nagtap sa bar. So, yun ang reference ko kasi nakita ko yung mga libro niya. So, inulit kong basahin doon sa libro ni Joaquin Bernas. Si Joaquin Bernas si Father Joaquin Bernas is a constitutionalist and one of the framers of I think he is one of the framers of the 1987 Constitution, plus the fact na yung original na binasa kong libro na si Supreme Court Justice na si Isagani Cruz na ginagamit na reference ng maraming law school hanggang ngayon. So, sana po may natutunan kayo dito sa aking episode na to. So, ako po, in my own legal opinion, I believe that the Supreme Court will favor the petition filed by Attorney Catalino ba yun? No? Attorney Catalino na mag-issue ng mandamus order against the Senate of the Philippines so that this impeachment trial will proceed now. No? At mag-conduct na ang Senate and then convert itself as an impeachment court. Nang matapos na yan, kasi nagkakaroon ng political instability kapag binitin mo ng binitin yan. And also, it's unfair on the part of the Vice President, Sara Duterte, na inakusahan mo pagkatapos binitin mo ng 6 months. No, hindi mo mabigyan tuloy ng summons yan upang siya ay makasagot do sa mga paratang laban sa kanya. So, it violates the principle of due process of law. So, dapat matuloy na yan, no? At nang matapos, kung walang kasalanan, acquit. Kung may kasalanan, convict. And then, prevent her from holding public office dito sa ating bansa. So, hanggang dito na lamang po. Ito pong muli ang inyong lingkod, Attorney Rene Bueno.